We have a serious issue in this country, and that country must, at a matter of time, now, not later, must be addressed. There has been so many revelations that the USA are the ones aiding the Boko Harams. There has been so many, revelations that it was America that sent out Jonathan. In the last 2 decades, Jonathan happens to have given Nigeria one of the best economy. The problem is, northern elders, northern elites, they want to milk this situation of revelation. They want to profiteer. They are now protesting and writing petitions and summons to Donald Trump that the North, they didn't say Nigeria, they said the North must be compensated for evil that the American country brought upon them. And I believe your guess is as good as mine. The Fulani'S are the one leading this conversation. The former presidential aide of Buhari, again, Bashir Ahmed, has come out. Let me read it for you, just as we have it on my screen. Let me read his statement. He said, with this revelation, I think it is only fair for Niger, affected by Boko Haram terrorism, to demand compensation from the US government for the loss of lives, destruction, and instability inflicted upon millions of innocent people. Bashir wouldn't have become who he is today if Buhari had not, I repeat, if Buhari has not exchanged the future of the Northern Territory for his own personal gains. You guys will remember that during that campaign period in 2012, 13, 14, there were so many machinations of propaganda. Everything was targeted to bring down Jonathan. And one of the people that was supposed to be the major beneficiary was Buhari. If Buhari had loved this nation, because it was out there that the Boko Haram, the bandits, were reorganizing, they were being trained in a forest very close to Sudan, and also they were being sponsored. These were the rumors, these were the information, the intelligence that were coming out. Yet the Ricard then even said, the West have turned their backs on us, Nigeria. Let us approach, I think, Bulgarian mercenaries. These were people who had ties with Russia. Jonathan wanted to go to Russia for arms deal, for drones. In fact, Jonathan was ready to even give away some of our resources in the north, so that those areas, he was ready to give away maybe one local government that had go for a period of maybe 5-6 years. Let us bring these people. They have the technology. As Nigerians, we are literally lack of that technology. We do not have the know-how. We don't know how to do anything. Let us call them in. The Russians, the Bulgarians. Let them come and flush these people out. They will tell us the issue. These were the what? The steps that Jonathan was ready to take. But we know what happened. Immediately, they took it to their mosques. They took it to every religious institutions. And of course, in the Southwest, we have the likes of Tinubu, who was also pushing aggressive propaganda using all manner of social medias. That Tinubu wanted to, that Jonathan was about to hand over the country to the whites. That he wants to trade the Nigerian as a state for his own personal interest. That he is highly incompetent. When the revelation came out, look at it. We saw a Buhari with who? Obama. Obama suddenly became a friend to Buhari. He has always been an Islamic fundamentalist. And Obama, the Democrats, immediately started financing the campaign of Buhari. This was what brought the reciprocity that in 2019 or 2018, should I say, when Biden was supposed to come in his first tenure, it was alleged that the Nigerian government under Buhari regime donated $150 million to sponsor Biden's campaign. Nigeria was one of the major and the biggest contributors to Biden's campaign fund. So you can see how these things are adding up. You can see how they're adding up. So this nonsensical statement coming from Bashir, stating that the North deserve a compensation from Donald Trump, from America, when your principal Buhari was looking for power, when he was seeking for that seat of presidency, he came out and said that if Jonathan resists, or if he tries to even announce himself as a president, that the blood of the baboons will be spilled on the street of Abuja and all over the country. These were the words, the heinous words, very terrible statement from a supposed, former state leader, a man who calls himself a patriot. When all this chaos were building up, that moment that these Boko Harams have not become the monster they are today. Okay? When Buhari, if truly Buhari loves this country, Buhari would have supported Jonathan to combat insurgency. But instead, they politicized it. They said that Jonathan was creating all manner of incidents so that the election will be postponed. It got to a point there was bomb blasts in Jos back to back. They were having series of bombs blowing up in Abuja. Instead of Buhari to come and call the president, let us see what's going on. The Nigerian interest should be above my own political gain. Buhari was saying that Jonathan must not seek for external machineries. They were aggressively against Jonathan meeting other countries that had the same warfare. Because America was definitely in cahoots with Buhari. So as you can see today now, they are now crying wolf. It is when you, I sometimes, I just look at them, look at the Buharis and his people that follow them aggressively. It is when you think that you can perpetrate evil, and at the end of the day you want to reap good. It doesn't work that way. For as long as this global world is concerned, and for as long as we people still believe in God, we believe that you cannot sow evil and reap good. If you do not reap it, your children will reap it. If your children do not reap it, your children, which are your grandchildren, will reap it. Today, the North is in disarray. The North has been bastardized because these are the evil Buhari allowed. Let us fast forward. Buhari won the election, quite alright. Then it got to a point, Obama left seat of power. And there were so many agitations, so many cries from Christians community that Christians are on a large number being annihilated. What we have in Nigeria is similar to genocide. And Biden took it upon himself, contacted the United Arab Emirates, Dubai to be precise. They released names of those that have been fingered to be the major financier of Boko Harams. These people, their names were enlisted just as I have on my screen. They were all Northerners, all Fulani'S. When the list was made public, the Nigerian people said that Buhari, you must repatriate these people or extradite them wherever they are. We want to see their face. We want to have them condemned and persecuted. Bashir and his fellow Fulani cohorts, they did not deem it fit to run a protest. Bashir and his fellow Northern people They do not deem it fit to say that, say Baba, our life has been disrupted, our lives have been destroyed. Zamfara, Sokoto, none of them came out to protest. Kano, none of them. I remember that time the only people that protested were the Southern Kadunas and of course the Jos people, the people in Southern Borno. These were the people that came out to protest. But you know what Buhari did? Buhari collected those files and then he kept it under his pillow that this is not a subject for conversations. Buhari kept quiet. He failed to visit that very important expose. He failed to persecute those people. He failed to fight insurgency. And then he succeeded to embolden them. Because those people, when they saw that Buhari did not call them for prosecution, they got more emboldened. And then we saw that by 2020, we started seeing series of attacks in Jos. We started seeing some series of attacks in Benue. 3 years to the end of Buhari, these were the situations. So this nonsense statement coming from Bashir, that Donald Trump, that the USA have used them, that they deserve to be compensated, that they are the only people that have suffered, that if Trump is going to send any form of aid, it should be to those areas that have been devastated. But these Boko Haram people wouldn't have succeeded if you, the Northerners, due to your religious bigotry and fanaticism, have not enabled them. That is the truth. Because those people came in form of Islamic jihad. They were portraying themselves as jihadists. In a tweet that was written by this same Bashir, this shameless Bashir, he wrote it in the past that if it is for him, because he's an Islamic extremist, to be called a terrorist, he said, so be it. So how am I so sure that even Bashir himself is not an enabler? Perhaps he is. Who knows? Because why would such a terrible statement, why would such a shameless and insensitive statement, a selfish one indeed, come out from Bashir and say that the Nigerian North needs a compensation? That Nigeria needs a compensation. These are people who didn't even want Trump to come in. These are people that felt that Trump was a Christian man who was a fanatic, who will do everything possible to deflate the influence of Islam. They were everywhere campaigning against Trump. You see by tomorrow now, when Trump now start questioning Tinubu about why Christians are being, just killed like chickens, these same Northerners who are seeking for compensation will throw away the sense of nationhood, throw it into the river and say that they are Muslim first before Nigerians. They start telling you that religion is above ethnicity. They start telling you that religion is above nationhood. Just yesterday we saw how shame catch up with Nigerian army. How the Nigerian army was put in total shame because of the terrible things Buhari have done, and how Tinubu also have come to expand it. Now the Nigerian people cannot, amongst Committee of African Nations, come out and speak. It is a shame for you to call yourself a Nigerian, even amongst West Africans. A nation that is not as big as Nigeria. They call themselves the Sahel, Alliance of Sahel. We have the Burkina, the Mali, the Niger, which as the Niger now have separated themselves from Nigeria. That Bashir, that shameless guy, is saying that Niger, they are fighting for their own sovereignty. If Trump now comes today and says that the northern, who are largely Muslims, and the southern Nigeria, who are largely Christians, shouldn't coexist, that they should split. Watch what those baggers who are asking for compensation, watch what they will turn to. Watch what they will turn to. So this notion, this entitlement mentality, look at what that senator said the other time. He said that the resources that go to the south is more than the north. That's why the north is impoverished. You are impoverished because people like Buhari will allow marauders, terrorists to come and invade you because they want to win a political post. That is the story. That is just the main thing here. You cannot exonerate Buhari and then saying that Tinubu, or you start holding USA. If Buhari had not been complicit, Boko Haram wouldn't have become the monster they are today. Bashir and every other people who are in the north asking for compensations. One kobo, the United States of America must not give. One kobo. If we want to be in one Nigeria, let us be in one Nigeria together until it explodes. Let us remain in one Nigeria until it explodes. Because you people don't want to be reasonable. We have a nation that, as it is, the formation, the context, what consists in the ingredients are not working. It is like a concoction that is not mixing. A mixture that doesn't want to dissolve. It is apparent. Everybody understands that we need to go our separate ways. But look at them. Look at what the statement they are making. Look at the nonsense. And for me, I think Trump is doing well. He needs to keep exposing. We need to know more of them. If it requires Trump for Nigeria to split, please, I hope and I pray that God will continue to give Trump the courage, the bravery, and the ruthlessness to expose those that are behind our ordeal in this contraption called Nigeria. If these people were not there, I believe you, trust me, Nigeria would have gone far. But these people are the stooges controlled by the British Empire. The British Empire understand that they are the most important tool, and that's why they are the largest numbers in military, police force, the Nigerian Air Force and co. So that is how the British Empire has strategically placed them as puppets. A Jonathan who wanted to fight bandits, who did everything possible. Then there were so many campaigns. So many people called Jonathan's a weak link. Yes, I am not, but to be fair, Jonathan could have exposed all these things. He should have exposed it. His silence was not golden. Jonathan would have been more brave. But at the same time, the Buharis who were haters of this country, who were just self-centered. When Jonathan was crying, a sincere cry, crying out, seeking for help, they felt it was an opportunity to exploit. They were applauding how the bombs were, being bombarded everywhere. They were using it as political points. That is why you see that the North are the ones who know what this Boko Haram is all about. Whenever it's election time, have you ever heard that they bombed any ballot area? Have you ever seen them board any polling units? So Trump must continue exposing the evil which the North have brought upon the southern Nigeria.